have a motion to approve the minutes. Should I have a motion?
You have a minute, motion to approve the minutes, seconded,
Second?
all in favor?
Aye.
I'm sorry, that's your job.
Oh my God. All right, the first thing on the agenda is the ORPT and bond bill grant update. So I just saw an email coming in from Michael at Denrac. The grant is still pending, waiting for Bill Barthel to sign it and get it back to him. I know in conversations leading up to today, Bill was working with the trustees to get the language approved by both the city and the trustees. Clearly, that hasn't happened yet. Mike, do you have any update on that?
No, I don't. Well, my update was when I was talking to Bill a little bit, and I don't think it has been worked out, but like I said, I think it's through all the email chains, I think things are getting either distorted or just misread, whatever it may be. I suggested Bill that Griffith, Taylor, him and two of us sit down and meet with everyone and just hash it all out. Oh, and Toner
Okay.
also.
I'm telling you that.
And Clayton's in charge of Battery Park, whoever they want on their end,
Right.
because I think it's time to actually now do a face to face. We're that close.
Okay, that sounds good.
It's, I was, Brian and I, and you, worked on one of the grants which I have done historically in my career and stuff. It's very frustrating that this is taking so long.
I'm not arguing with you.
I mean, it's frustrating, very frustrating.
Seems like.
As someone who is trying to help to get money for the city to do this project.
I don't have the answer.
Yeah.
I mean, you got the lawyers between the trust and the city and everybody's trying to CYA and I think that's 90%. That's why I said it's time for a face to face.
And just thinking about the kids and stuff,
Right.
Gotta
it's a
get
positive thing.
That's why I'm sitting here. I mean, I agree.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
From the time you guys brought it up, I said I'd jump on board in a heartbeat. So it's,
Yeah.
I just think it's time to hash out the details and say yes or no, look everybody in the eye and so not behind emails.
Yep. Okay,
Okay.
all right, so I'll.
My
propose
humble opinion.
that To Bill, after this meeting, I'll ask him to set that up. And get everybody on the same page. All right, moving on to the playground equipment update. So the final proposal was hashed out last night. We were over budget, of course. So we had to knock out the chimes. So those came out. But working with Scott, he was able to massage in the border and the ramps. The thing that I asked to keep the cost down was whether or not it would be easy for us to install the borders and the ramp. And he said they're really simple to do. So
Okay.
if the playground subcommittee would like to take on that job, we'll go out there on a weekend or whenever it is and to tap them, the borders all into place. He assured me that it was a straightforward thing and we could make it into a party. It'd be fun.
My only other question with that, and I'm happy to help with that, is where are we with the swing that would incorporate the children who might not be able to swing at a regular swing?
So that is it's the ADA swing.
Okay,
And that is part of the proposal. I did have to swap out the one of the parent-child swings for another baby swing to get costs down. So
Okay.
this revised proposal, everybody should go over it and take a look. It has
Can you
two
say
baby
that again?
swings.
What did you have to swap?
I had to swap out we had two dual swings. So one was a parent-child swing, one was one for more two kids. So one had a support for like a toddler and a parent, and the other one could be a parent and a child who can support themselves. Had to take one of those out and put in a baby swing. So now we have two baby swings instead of just one, which I thought was probably a better number than just one.
yeah,
We have two regular swings. We have the disc swing. We have the ADA swing, which I've been told is the most popular swing on the set. And then we have a dual swing, one dual swing.
okay.
So that either two kids or parent and a kid can swing. So I think we have a good variety, yeah.
I have one question, just for a point of clarity. So, excuse me, last week at the city council meeting, I believe Mr. Platt and Mr. Barthel had a communication, and I thought there was a point of clarity in regards to the pathway.
Yes.
that where some extra funds might be made available because the allotment for the pathway wasn't gonna be, I guess, $50,000 or something like
Yeah,
that.
the
Is
path,
that baked into? the
Yeah,
new?
that's all in here. So the pathway came out at 23,000, which left us 37,000. So we have a total of 137,000 to use for the playground and installation. This proposal came out to 138,279.40. So we're over by 1,200. Nicole Ford had said that St. Peter's had offered to fund the ADA swing. So I'm gonna go to them and find out if they'll still do that, which is $1,031.20, leaves us about $200. I'm happy to chip in for that. So if that is, or if we can, yeah,
Same here.
yeah, we can make that nut as long as we get the ADA swing covered. So. did you wanna add
I just want to jump in, what you were talking about, what I brought up with Mr. Barthel, the walkway. Last meeting, there's questions, the ordinance that pretty much released the money was we couldn't exceed $100,000 for the playground. And we couldn't exceed $60,000 for the walkway.
Okay.
And I think you brought the question up, Suzanne, can the money be mingled after we get the estimates for the walkway? And that question was answered yes, and I'm almost positive that it didn't have to be done by resolution, because all this money is set aside for this project.
Yeah.
It was just broken down into two sections because of the grant.
Great,
Okay.
thank you.
Sounds good. The last thing about the playground equipment, I finally did get a hold of Leonard Sofrin, who is the Wilmington playground guru, and he reviewed the plan today, and he said looks good. So that was a nice stamp of approval from him. So that's the playground equipment update. Brian, can I ask you to do the neighborhood playground update?
Yes, so Encore presented at the local library on Delaware Street on March the 3rd. That event took place in the meeting room downstairs at 7 o'clock again on March the 3rd. The meeting was a success. It was very insightful to hear from local residents across all demographics. Children as probably young as 8, 10 years old to gentlemen and ladies who were in their probably 80s.
Yeah.
Who spoke about the importance of open spaces and how that has a platform and ability to create opportunities for education and exercise. So I personally have felt kind of reinvigorated by the atmosphere that was created at the meeting. And again, that was just done at the behest of City Council at the creation of the subcommittee to just kind of solicit feedback from local residents. So there was a few different parks. Obviously, we are a community of neighborhoods. And so there were about 3 or 4 parks that had representation. There were several residents from the Van Dyke community who were there. Of course, there were people from Battery Park and then Susie Park had representation from there. So in terms of like an overview for what the meeting consisted of, it was an introduction, acknowledgement of all city officials and participants who have helped us get to this point. There was an icebreaker, there was an intro into Encore, and then there was just identification of some playground equipment and feedback and solicitation in regards to contact points for people going forward.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brian.
Can I ask a question about
Sure.
the playground in Battery Park? I know this is part of phase 2, but I just want to make sure that because slides are not included in the first phase,
Right.
are we keeping the current slides, right? We're not moving them out because of the way the line is going to go and everything, because that's a pretty important component. Slides and swings were the most important equipment pieces we
Right.
had in our surveys.
So, thanks. So that's a question for the city because they are going to demolition, they're going to remove the playground equipment. And whether they can move the equipment to where the phase 2 equipment will go is a good question. So that's an open
Okay.
question for Bill.
It'll be, I think kids, kids would hate not seeing that go away.
I'll second that.
Yeah.
I'll second that.
Okay.
Kids of all ages.
I just don't want it to be one of those things that we forget. We're like, oh yeah, this is phase two, and then we're like 2 years down waiting for it to be the new one. So,
For a
because
sideboard.
We have that already.
Right.
And I feel like we can probably maneuver it in this whole.
Good point. That is a good point. Any other questions? Andrew? All right, well, thank you, everybody. The move to adjourn,
Seconded.
all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Happy first day of spring.
Yeah.
Did everybody wait like an hour and a half in line to get their $1.50 water ice?
My mom said they texted me about Rita's. I'm like, you stuck in the office. Then my first day.
I drove
back.
past,
Good, it was good. I'm trying to, reacclimate. It was good.
I drove past one and,
Here's one.
yeah, I was just like, it's ridiculous. I'll pay tomorrow. for it, right?
Yeah, the appointment today, actually. Mr. Platt, we had the pleasure, I'm gonna probably butcher the name, of meeting Mr. and Mrs. Gamble Cordia.
Yeah.
Okay, in Gorda.
Gamble Cordia. Very
What
nice.
ones?
The ones that live right by the park.
Anthony.
Elderly
Foley.
couple?
Anthony Foley.
Yeah, they were very nice.
They're pretty nice people.
Yeah.
That's one of the last of the big families in town, that's for
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
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 They said
Well,
they-
now where the liquor store is,
Uh-huh.
by right,
Yes, sir.